On 24th of October 2022, Spotify, a Swedish audio streaming and media service provider, announced that it had made available a 12 million grant to content producers who tell the story of Africa. While hosting prominent podcasters and musicians from Africa, the managing director of Spotify Africa, Jocelyne Muhutu Remy, announced the grant launch during the Africa Day celebrations in Johannesburg. The fund intends to spotlight voices, formats, and languages from Africa and hosts of all genders by amplifying the underrepresented tales and viewpoints in podcasting. The recipients of the funds are independent, upcoming podcasters with expanding audiences. According to the news release, the criteria used in the selection of the fund beneficiaries was a pure numbers game. They focused on countries with the largest podcast listeners, which is more of investing in tangible and established countries, giving them a boost, which makes sense, but that is only if you ask me. In total, 13 podcasts were selected. A total of 5 from West Africa, that is, 3 in Nigeria, 1 in Ghana, and 1 in Cameroon. South Africa and Kenya bagged 4 in each country for the deal. However, in this video, we are only going to focus on the latter, which is Kenya. The 4 selected podcasters in Kenya are the Sandwich Podcast, the Messy Inbetween, Mantalk.ka, and Nipe Story.
Kutoka nisikize Sandwich, hii ni the first time. Umenichekesha.
Bana au Ali wana.
Sasa inakuanga fun kuona best yako akiwa Rust kaile ni mwaka gani
sikuwa
ile de 18 ulirushwa bonsa kasa
bro wacha kushow kuna day.
In this segment, we are going to dissect each podcast and what they represent, what they stand for, and this is going to happen in no particular order. Number 1 on the list is the Sandwich Podcast. It is presented by John, Gibbs, Nyamita, and Owen, and this podcast has the most listeners in Kenya. The program covers life experiences and narratives and presents its information in English, Swahili, and Sheng. Sheng is a language that is used in Kenya, in urban Kenya. It's a mixture of Swahili and English. On unusual occasions, the program includes additional speakers who provide ideas for the podcast episodes. The 4 hosts describe themselves as a bunch of funny creatives speaking out their mind on different matters. This podcast has 237,000 of people following them on Instagram.
Hey guys, Murugi Munyi here. It's Lydia KES, and we're back again with another episode of The Messy Inbetween. It's definitely TMI.
Number 2 on the list is The Messy Inbetween. This podcast is hosted by Murugi Munyi and Lydia Mukami. It covers issues including money, love, job, life, advice based on personal experience, and everything else that goes into making a life. In other words, it's an open and honest dialogue about how messy life is among various aspects of living. It offers a secure setting where women can speak openly about their experiences. Along with emphasizing all the messy sides of life, the hosts provide a forum for people to discuss solutions and come up with them. On Instagram, TMI, or the Messy Inbetween podcast, has 53.3 thousand followers.
Comedy is the mirror through which society can be seen.
There we go.
It can be concave, it can be convex, but it is always a true reflection of who we are.
Eric.
That was dropped in this episode by one Mr. Eric from Punchline Comedy Club. who was joined by the very, very fantastically, and you'll understand it when you watch the episode.
My goodness.
The fantastically foolish
Yes. Yes.
Tiger Shira,
Yes.
who is one of, if not the best comedian in our country today.
100%.
I think we've just shot one of the most nuanced, complex episodes about Kenyans and African society that kind of we've.
Number 3 on the list is Mantalk.ke. The show identifies the need for talks hosted by men on topics like toxic masculinity, fatherhood, feminism, dating, and self-care. The program is anchored by 2 Kenyan actors, Eli Mwenda and Oscar Comey. Even though they are putting themselves in a vulnerable position, the 2 hosts try to have insightful dialogues for the sake of their audience. It provides a secure environment for stimulating an open dialogue as the hosts have fun answering the questions submitted by the show's audience. The episodes are jam-packed with banter. The podcast, which has an audience share of 150,000 on Spotify and 43.5k Instagram followers, was named the winner of the African Podcast and Voice Awards on September 25th, 2022.
Just looking at the Soundwaves was like, oh, wow. And I worked for a couple of hours that evening. You know, when you know in your spirit, this is what I'm meant to do. Sound is my baby. And it felt so cool just being able to play with sound again.
Number 4, and the last on our list, is Nipe Story. Nipe Story is hosted and narrated by Kevin Moshiro, a hilarious activist, writer, and a journalist from Kenya. Kevin provides a platform for African writers to share their short stories, giving written African stories a chance. The stories are made up, and the podcast, which is only 1 year old, has gained notoriety as Kenya's outstanding podcast. You may be listening to this video and wondering, why is Spotify doing this? The main objective is to support African platform creators globally and change the constrictive perception of stories about the continent that has existed historically. Through financial scholarships, workshops, and networking opportunities, the fund aims to advance the careers of these podcasters. I don't know what your opinion is. Please let us know in the comments below. Do you think it's a good thing what Spotify is doing and tapping into the African market? What's your view? Let us know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.